Yes, so as a primary school teacher, this would have been really useful for planning my topics, because often we start with a big question and then try and think of different subjects or different areas of study that would fall under to create cross-curricular links. So this would have saved me a lot of time.
Well, maybe you can give me an example of one of the questions that you would start your...
I thought it was amazing. I thought the fact that it can search so many different fields of study simultaneously at that speed was very impressive. Thinking from a teacher perspective, to have this kind of search engine that could take a question for me and then narrow down the answers into different areas of study would have enabled me to create topics for my class a lot faster than using traditional search engines.
GenAI chatbots like Bard and Bing Chat and ChatGPT seem to be here to stay. And for many of us, they're available on our phones and laptops. It's led to calls to educators to help young people with how they can get the benefits of this new technology without paying a cost in terms of their well-being and potential to flourish. So if you're looking for ideas and ways to get young people started safely with how to chatbot, then here are some suggestions. Here's a workshop we ran with students to help them to think about an artificial intelligence on board a space telescope. And the role of the artificial intelligence is to select the data that is sent back to Earth, because the instruments on board the telescope are gathering too much data to send it all back. And we wanted students to think about what it would be like to communicate with this artificial intelligence. If the AI had discovered something that seems new, would the students, if they were on the receiving end of the messages, know exactly what the artificial intelligence had found? What kind of language would an artificial intelligence use to come up with its description and tell us what remarkable discovery it possibly has made?
You know, like when you use filter paper in science and you have to put it in
a funnel.
A funnel, yeah.
So it's like a funnel.
Like a funnel. It's a bit smaller than a pen. I'm trying to use other objects to describe.
You are. I find that quite interesting as well. A bit smaller than a pen.
No.
Am I missing anything else?
There's one more spot.
Wow.
Not there. There.
You're the AI up in space. You're Earth. What have you got for me so far? This is what Earth. This is Earth. What has Earth understood from the remote telescope so far?
Well, I understand that it's a long sort of object, and it's like it's really thin as well, and it's got some intricate details, and I believe it's some sort of material. So obviously I'm not the greatest artist. So
yeah, that's all right. You've done well.
I started off with like a longer tube, then tried to make it thinner, and then attempted to add some slightly intricate details.
Something I found interesting as I watched this activity is that the students very rarely talked about the colour of the objects, even though the objects themselves are quite colourful. And the reason that the students didn't talk about colour is that they'd worked out pretty quickly that the student on Earth was only using white paper and black pen. So whatever colours might have been in the description from the artificial intelligence, they were going to be reduced to black and white once the messages got to Earth. It's interesting, isn't it, that our thinking can be shaped, constrained or fired up by the technologies that we're using. I like to think of it a bit like what happens when you get into a car. You become a driver. Or if you get onto a bike, you're a cyclist. Or if you're walking, you're a pedestrian. In other words, your thinking is shaped by the technology that you're using, in that case, to get around. It goes to show, doesn't it, that it's going to be super important for us to help our young people to think creatively, critically, and to have curiosity about the impact that these new technologies can have on our thinking and how we approach the world.
So specialists like your good self have been working in this field for some time, and now suddenly everybody, those in the humanities, those in education, we all have to start to care about artificial intelligence. Have you got any advice for that wider university as it starts to cut to grips with what this is going to be like?
Yeah, I would think that work on what we used to call artificial intelligence systems and now AI have been brought to the main focus of news and the main focus of the public eye, because they can now communicate with you. And my advice would be that now us, the experts within the university, we have to sit together, we have to discuss with each other, and we have to find common language in fruitful collaboration of how we can use this power that are rising and how we can safeguard our life, be it social, educational, economy related, and so on.